Good evening and welcome to the rest of the news. Our special guest today is Jim Coyle with 970 The Answer.
The Answer, yes. Brand new for the new year. We got a new tagline to go along with the station. So 970 AM, The Answer it is.
Very good. Well, things are really popping in Washington, D.C. with the moving in of the new Congress and the new Senate. And there's new legislation coming in. It seems to be moving in the right direction. There's this bill introduced by Robert Aderholt from Louisiana that they're trying to defund that portion of the Homeland Security Department that are going to be involved in funding Obama's executive order giving amnesty to something like 5 million illegal immigrants. Well, Jim, what do you think is the real reason why Obama is pushing this immigration?
I think some of it goes back to when the president was first taking office in 2008. There's a clip I've played on my show numerous times. I don't think it was lighthearted, and I think it's important for people to remember that he said we are 5 days before the election in 2008, we are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. He does have a different vision in mind for America, and I believe part of that vision is this lax sovereignty. I think it's to generate another voting bloc that he can have locked up for a generation. The greater good of the party is to seal in that voting bloc for the next generation. I think that's part of why it's happening. I think part of it is happening because he doesn't really seem to understand that what we are asking for in this country is nothing different from what any other country is asking for: sovereign borders.
Right.
Part of his approach to America has been that America is up on a high horse, and we've made a lot of mistakes, and we got to level the playing field by bringing America down. Instead of a lot of other politics, like Ronald Reagan was all about. A city on a shining hill and being a beacon to bring other people up.
Right.
And, I look at things and if I see somebody struggling, the best thing to do is to help raise them up, not to bring everybody down to struggle.
Right.
And I think that's this conception that he really struggles with. He thinks an even playing field is bringing everyone down to a certain level. I would suggest it's helping bring people up. But I don't think he sees it that way.
And, we worry about him giving all kinds of entitlements to these people that is going to throw us into more and more debt. Mm-hmm. Here we are, people that are paying into Social Security, and when they get ready to receive Social Security, you just wonder if it's going to be there because maybe all these illegal immigrants have taken it home.
Well, I'm already questioning it because they've mismanaged it, and the baby boomers are now retiring, and we're seeing what a strain that is on the economy.
Yeah.
I'm Generation X. I'm a little bit behind the baby boomers, and I'm sitting there looking at the numbers going, I don't know if there's anything going to be there for me, and this was before immigration came into play. So, yeah, it's... And although we've been told that they're not going to have access to our benefits and they're not going to have access to health care and they're not going to have these things, we're seeing the exact opposite happen. When this came up before Congress, originally a few years ago, they wanted to do it as the DREAM Act.
Yeah.
if you remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And Congress said no to the DREAM Act. It
Yeah.
didn't pass. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Obama does not like to listen to Congress. He doesn't like to listen to the American people, and he obviously doesn't like to follow the Constitution.
He's got his own
Because he
agenda.
turned around and he wrote the first executive order for amnesty, which was to allow kids who came to America 16 and younger, and put all these caveats in so that they could come here and they could get a free education and they could have health care. And so what this is a continuation of that for the kids that he's allowed to be here. Now he's taken the new executive order, which again, Congress did not pass, and he decided to work around Congress and say, okay, well, now all these people can stay too. These kids that came in on the DREAM Act, now their parents, now their grandparents, now their uncles, now their aunts can all come. I mean, we're going to be uniting families, and we're going to be doing all these wonderful things, but it's not going to work out that way. I don't see the upside of this at all for Americans.
Well, what you were saying about Obama is, I remember he says now, if you like your insurance, you can keep your insurance, period.
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 If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Period.
Period. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
and our just to follow up on that, because we're here in Kentucky, our very own Congressman John Yarmuth,
yeah.
who in 2010 at his town hall meeting, I asked him point blank in
Yeah.
front of a whole room of people, government screwed up Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. You want us to give you another $1 trillion. How are we going to pay for it? And he said, the question is, how are we going to pay for it? I don't know. But he moved ahead and signed off on the bill. And then he heard Obama say that, and he told HAS's Joe Arnold, I cringed when I heard that because I knew it wasn't going to be true. I knew that we couldn't do that. And for 2 years, he sat quiet in his office in Washington, D.C. or the Mazzoli building, wherever he was, and didn't say anything to his constituents. And, I think that is reprehensible. It's one thing to lie, and that's wrong on the liar. And then it's another thing to be to see that lie, to hear that lie, know it's a lie, have an obligation to tell the truth, and choose not to. And that's a big problem I have with John Yarmuth, and I would really, really, really hope that the next go round we can get him out of there. But
it's like somebody saying, I want to buy a new car, and somebody says, well, how are you going to pay for it? I don't know, but I'm going to buy it anyway.
I'll buy it anyway.
Print up some more dollar bills. Well, here's this video. Now, this video has Obama saying, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor, period. And a lot of other stories. And it also has Gruber saying, well, we had to lie about Medicare because...
Well, the American people are stupid.
Stupid,
Yeah,
and that's the only way you can get it
The
passed.
only way you get it passed is to lie about it.
So there's a lot of other things on here too, and this is free. We'd like to give this to anybody that'll call this the number 893-2444. We'll send that to you. I was just telling you, we've sent out 7,000 of
That's fantastic.
different videos all around, and
Well, you know what's so encouraging about that? That means the people that are watching are getting engaged. They're
Yeah.
asking for information,
Yeah.
and they're taking information and spreading it themselves.
that's right.
And that is so important right now, because when you look at the media, I have to say I've been disappointed, would be lightly saying I'm disappointed with the media. It's been a train wreck for a decade now. It's just gotten worse under President Obama, but it's been in bad shape for a long time. You can't rely on honest integrity reporting from the major news cycle anymore.
Now, I got this newsletter, and it says there are a lot of other problems if he passes all of this amnesty bill. Like we talked about the voting block, the debt, of course, the drugs. There are a lot of drugs, and they're, low-priced drugs coming across the border.
Well, drugs and just security as well. You figure if we're not doing anything at these checkpoints, and I think a few months back I probably shared the video with you A trucker was coming from Mexico into the United States. He had a little flip cam with him, and he put it on when he got to the border. And they just asked, "Do you have anything we should know about in there?" "No." "Does it matter if I did?" "No." And he drives through. I mean, they don't open up the back of the truck. They don't look underneath the truck. The border has become so porous and so poorly managed. Everything's coming across. And the more we break down those barriers by signing executive orders like this, the more it's a free-for-all for anyone who hasn't gotten here yet. And that's not just the good guys who want to immigrate and raise a family in America and strive for the American dream, because that's not what it's about anymore.
Right.
It's about getting here and getting established so that you can get what's coming to you from Obama. And then the drugs come across. Terrorism has got to be a threat and an issue. And when we see that no matter how much President Obama wants to say the war on terror is over, the war in Afghanistan is over, the war in Iraq is over, as far as I know, when I look at history, the person doing the attacking, doesn't stop just because someone else says the war is over.
Yeah.
Obama has said the war is over. This isn't happening anymore. He doesn't like to use the word terrorism. He doesn't like to talk about Islamic Jihad.
Yeah.
And, when you can't confront those problems, you can't stop those problems. And they are a problem. I'm trying to remember what senator it was. No, Duncan Hunter was on an interview on Fox News not too long ago. And he said, guys, we caught 12 ISIS members at the border. Now, if you catch 12, there's at least 48 probably that got in ahead of that.
Yeah.
If you compare it to our regular catch and release program, if we stop 15 illegals coming into the country, 45, 60 get in.
Yeah.
And, so if you use those same type of proportions, there's probably already hundreds of Islamic jihadists in our country already. But it's not going to be acknowledged, and the problem's going to get worse as he continues to sign these types of
unbelievable
of legislation. Well, it's not even legislation; it's fiat.
Like he said, he's fundamentally transforming our country.
Yeah.
Now, this is another video I'd like to send you. It's free too. It's called Agenda, and this is the story behind Khrushchev saying, we're going to take over America without firing a shot.
Yep.
And this is how he did it. He wrote it down, how he was going to do it. He's going to take prayer out of school, the Ten Commandments, and put everybody on welfare and all of that. It's all in here, and we'll send you this for free too. There are people that want to take prayer out of school, get the Ten Commandments out, get the Bible out, get creation science out.
Well, you talk about the Bible. Just in the last couple of weeks, we have seen there's a student out west that was expelled because he brought a Bible in and read it during his free time. When other kids are, reading Harry Potter or whatever, he decided to read the Bible. It had nothing to do with the class assignment. It was his personal choice on his free time, and he got expelled from the school. And now there's a battle going on, and the parents are trying to fight it. But there's also a teacher who was asked by a student some questions about the Bible, not in a classroom setting, but on a one-on-one setting. And the teacher gave the student a Bible. Well, that teacher was fired. He's now fighting for his job. Fire chief fired for religious views and Christian beliefs. You look at all the war memorials, World War II memorials that are being taken to court to be removed because they have a Christian symbolism attached to them. These people are not taking anything into consideration about the men and women who died at the time, the families involved in these memorials. They want them removed. And it's not just, they want to say, oh, well, it's, government funded and it's taxpayer funded. And that's not even what it is. Some of these memorials are private memorials, but they are seen from public spaces, and they're trying to simply drive all images of Christianity out of America. And unfortunately, around the world, Christians are under more of an attack now than I've ever seen in my lifetime. I mean, I literally cried a couple of weeks ago when I saw that story about ISIS beheading those 4 children over in Iraq, and it was moving and inspirational as a Christian because these 4 children refused to convert, and they went to their knees in the street and were beheaded because they loved Jesus Christ and they would not denounce him. That is an amazing piece of faith that, as I said, as a Christian, it's so inspiring to know that these children at that young age had such a strong faith and belief in Jesus. But on the other hand, it is so horribly upsetting as a human in the world today to see children beheaded in the streets.
It's too gruesome.
You can tell me what's going on, but I don't necessarily need to see it. Much like that police officer in France the other day that got shot as the terrorists were running into the cartoonist newspaper to shoot up the cartoonists who made the images of Muhammad. He was shot on the way in the building. He was laying on the ground, and I mean, talk about hands up, don't shoot. He put his hands up, laying on the ground with his leg already shot, pleading for his life, and they simply shot him in the head as they went past into the building. Newsmax, Fox, WND, there's lots of places that hosted that article about those children, and it's just, if you can't look at evil in the eye and call it evil, you're already lost.
When they took God out of our public schools, a lot of things happened. We got the academic achievement went from number 1 down to 25, and we're still falling. We still have all this crime. There was a time when you didn't have to lock your house. You could walk through the inner city.
School shootings.
The drug problem, all that started after they took God out of our schools.
Have you ever heard Paul Harvey's If I Were the Devil? In the 1960s, Paul Harvey did a little, I think it's maybe 5-6 minutes, and he says, if I were the devil, I would, and he goes on and says all the things. Now, mind you, this is, I think, 1963 or 1964. Everything has happened. Everything is. He talks about patrolling schools.
Yeah.
He talks about God coming out of school. He talks about everything that you and I just talked about, and it's happened. And
that's in here too. This is covered in here.
And I think at the end he says, "So if I were the devil, I'd just keep doing what I'm doing." And now, here we are.
There's one other thing on this other DVD. It's David Barton, and he's got a picture he's got a Bible in his hand, and he says, "This is the first Bible ever printed in the United States in English." And he says, this was printed by the people who wrote the Constitution. Okay? And he says it's written in the Congressional Record that they had it printed for use in the public schools.
Yeah. So many people are confused about the First Amendment and about what's actually in our Constitution. I've had numerous conversations with atheists and others who want to say separation of church and state, freedom from religion. And those two things are wrong because, number one, separation of church and state does not appear in any of our founding documents. That phrase was taken from a personal letter of Thomas Jefferson's, not from any founding documents, not from any legal document. And what the First Amendment says is not that the government can't be involved in anything religious or that there can't be any religion in the country. What it says is you are free to practice whatever one you want.
Yeah.
The government will not force you to follow a certain religion.
Right.
And that's where
we've turned it upside down.
And we've turned it upside down because people have changed that little, from, of to from. Freedom of religion means you can practice any religion you want. Freedom from religion means we're going to remove everything religious. And that's, it's a one short little word, but it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And freedom of religion is in our Constitution. Freedom from religion is not. And neither is separation of church and state. two big fundamental myths.
Absolutely. Okay, now let me review this. Here's this DVD with David Barton and Obama, and here's the fundamental transforming of America, and here is the plan to destroy America. And you say, well, what are we going to do about all this? We've been talking about problems and problems, but there's more to talk about than problems. We want to talk about the answer. And this is the answer right here. This is a petition to put prayer back in Kentucky schools. Florida, Mississippi, and Louisiana have already done it, and we can do it too. So we're going to, if you call the number 893-2444, we're going to send you this DVD, we're going to send you this DVD, we're going to send you this summary, and we're going to send you the prayer petition because it's already been introduced, this legislation section. And with your help, we can get it passed. But we'll send you this petition, and then we'll call you when it's got the bill number and everything. But it's already been introduced. So give us a call right now, 893-2444, and we'll send you both DVDs and the prayer petition and this summary sheet.
Now, you talk about solutions. We also, there is an upswing here in that we just had a huge victory in elections. And we have a new Congress now. We have a new House. We have a new Senate.
Yes.
And a Republican majority in both. Now, there are some concerns about the Republican leadership, and I think that they are justified concerns. But I will say I was very happy the other day. John Boehner said, I don't think that funding of Department of Homeland Security is at risk. What I do think is at risk is the rule of law and our Constitution. We have to act, and so we will. I really hope he believes that, because and I really hope that when he says when we act, we have to act, and so we will, because we are talking about the constitutional lawlessness right now. From the executive orders, the DREAM Act executive order, the last immigration executive order he signed, and lots of other issues as well. If we have, a majority of Republican conservatives, hopefully we can we'll stem the tide on these things, defund them, repeal them, at least stop the bleeding until 2016. And hopefully continue this move forward with more of a constitutional government,
a renaissance.
And the funny thing is, when the 2010 election came in, we had a huge victory.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately had a bad 2012 with the presidential election. But local and state did better during that election.
Yeah.
Then we had the government shutdown, and everyone said, oh, the brand is tarnished, the Republicans are tarnished, the conservatives, the Ted Cruzes and the Rand Pauls, they're hurting the party. But what happened right after that shutdown? The 2014 election, which was the huge Republican conservative victory. So all the things, again, we get back to the news cycle. The things that you're hearing in the news about the diminishing effect of the Tea Party, the bad branding of the Republicans, it doesn't show up at the polls. What's been showing up at the polls since 2010 is a message from the voters that, yes, these are the people that we want in charge. Yes, we do want to stop this overgrab of power from the executive branch. We want Congress to stop abdicating their power to the executive branch and act constitutionally. That's the message that is continually sent from the people in these elections.
Absolutely.
And it keeps getting bigger and bigger. We've got the largest majority in the House, since 1920s, I believe. So it's
a huge victory.
It's a huge victory, and we can have a victory in 2016, and we can do a lot between now and then to slow or stem or stop what Obama is trying to do. But we need John Boehner and we need Mitch McConnell to do the right thing.
And we need every one of us. There's an old song, surely there's a job that I can do.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a job for each one of us to do. Here's the answer right here. Together, under God, we're invincible. Nothing can stop us. And so we'll send you that too. But we need to work together. Everyone is important. There's a job for everyone to do. Now, as Jim was just talking, this bill just is being voted on. But we put out 7,000 emails about that bill. If you call us at that number, 893-2444, we'll put you on that email list and we'll send you an email. All you have to do is click on the action box and it'll send an email to all the congressmen, or at least the ones, your congressmen. Let's put it that way. You know, the old song, Onward Christian Soldiers. It's time to stand up and be counted, and for the things of God and for America and for freedom. Look at their jobs. Somebody told me the other day that half of the college graduates go home and live with their parents because they can't find a job. Okay? That's not right. And why don't we have jobs? Because the current administration is closing down the businesses with all these high taxes and regulations.
Executive orders.
There's no jobs because they're shutting down all the businesses.
Yeah.
And, we can't go on that way. We need to get the taxes down. We got the highest taxes in the world. And all the jobs are going overseas because nobody can afford to work here. Okay, it's just like go to Detroit, Michigan, and you can see exactly where we're headed. And we're going to get there quick unless we all get together and work together and call that number, 893-2444. I'll tell the secretary what to do and just tell him, give me the packet.
It's a good, strong packet this time, too. There's a lot of great material there. And, he was just out, Obama was just out on I guess he's prepping for his State of the Union, and he's out there trying to rally the base. And he's speaking at plants, talking about the economy, and the factories are closed. He's speaking at closed factories, talking about how the economy is bouncing back. It's a messed
Crazy.
up, upside down world right now. And if you listen to the president, if you listen to the media, you'd think that, everything was great and there was 2 cars in every garage and a chicken in the pot, and that's not where we are.
Right.
They can say, just like the war on terror, you can say it's over as much as you want. You can say the recession has ended as much as you want, but the facts on the street don't back that up.
Right.
And now, on top of all of that, Obama just said this week that he wants everybody to be able to attend 2 years of community college for free. Who's going to pick up that bill? It takes the bill off the student, but it puts it on the rest of us at some point. Somebody's got to pay for it. So it doesn't look like he, even in his last 2 years in the lame duck presidency, it does not look like he is got the message. He's not going to move center right. He's not going to work with the people. He's not going to work with Congress. First thing he said was, if you pass the Keystone Pipeline, I'm going to veto it.
That's wonderful. That's what we need.
So
get rid of all those good-paying jobs.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of work to do, but we've got time to get it done.
Jim, when is your program on?
Sunday nights from 10 to midnight on 970 AM The Answer.
God bless you, and thank Jim Coyle for being with us, and thank you for watching. Tune in again next week for the rest of the news.